Welcome to video 2 of the Lose the Back Pain system. It's now time for you to learn the corrective stretches and exercises for the dysfunctions you have identified. Here are the corrective exercises for the forward-tip pelvis dysfunction.
The first exercise is a seated forward bend. Sit in a chair, eyes looking straight forward. Slowly you're going to bend your body forward and down until you feel stretching across the lower back. Go as far as you comfortably can and hold. You'll want to hold this position for about 5 to 8 seconds. Come back up slowly, and you're going to repeat this 3 to 5 times. Next, we'll demonstrate a more advanced way of stretching the muscles of the lower back. Steve's going to grab onto the chair for balance and slowly lower his body all the way down as low as he can while maintaining his feet flat on the floor. While you may not get here right away, the goal is to build up to this position. And to make it more challenging, Steve's going to let go of his hands, and that makes it more difficult. You want to hold this position for anywhere from 5 to 15 seconds and repeat at least 3 to 5 times per day. Okay, the next exercise for the forward tip pelvis is strengthening the abdomen using the draw-in exercise. Lying flat on the back, knees are bent, feet on the floor, you're going to pull your belly button in towards your back. So Steve's going to pull in towards the floor. You're going to hold this position for 3 to 5 seconds, relax, and you're going to repeat this 5 to 10 times. In addition, this same exercise can be done standing. Another, more advanced way of strengthening the abdomen is using what we call the reverse crunch. Same position as the draw-in, lying flat on your back with your knees bent and feet on the floor. Hands are a little closer to your bottom this time to support the body, support the back. You're going to slowly lift the knees up by contracting the muscles of the torso. Draw it all the way in, hold the squeeze, and then slowly lower back down. You're going to repeat at least 5 to 8 repetitions of this. And this exercise can be done at least 2 to 3 times per day. Okay, next we're going to stretch the tight muscles of the hip flexors. We're going to demonstrate a standing hip flexor stretch using a chair. Steve's going to place his foot on the chair, tip the pelvis backward, and then move the body forward. In this position, you should feel stretching through the hip and front of the thigh. You're going to hold this for about 10 to 15 seconds, come out of it, and switch sides. You can do this 3 to 5 times per day, and it can also be done on a set of stairs. Another way to stretch the hip flexors is what we call the kneeling hip flexor stretch. Steve's going to show you kneeling, right knee down. He's going to tip the pelvis backward and then move the hips forward. And as you go into this position, you'll feel that stretching through the top of the hip and down through the thigh. To increase the stretch, you can move the lower leg and foot out to the side, away from the body. Again, you're going to hold this 10 to 15 seconds, relax, switch to the other side. You want to perform this at least 3 to 5 times per day. As we mentioned earlier, one of the primary causes of a forward tip pelvis is lack of strength in the glutes. So, to reactivate those muscles, we're going to start with the most basic exercise, an isometric glute squeeze. First thing you're going to do is standing relaxed. You're going to point your toes inward. Once you're in that position, then you're going to just simply contract or squeeze the muscles of the glutes. You're going to squeeze it, hold it 3 to 5 seconds, relax, and continue to repeat that until you performed 10 to 15 repetitions. Okay, now we're going to do more glute strengthening. We're going to be performing a regular bridge. So Steve's lying flat on his back, knees bent and feet are on the floor, hands by the side for support. You're going to push up using your glutes, holding that squeeze at the top. You're getting as high as you possibly can. Hold for 3 to 5 seconds, slowly lower down, and then repeat. And you can do this 10, 15, 20 times. As you get stronger, this will become easy, and you'll want to make it more difficult. One of the ways you can do this is to go up, hold the squeeze, extend the leg, hold for a second, and then switch legs. Hold for a few seconds, and then switch back and forth. And if that's not challenging enough, you can then graduate to performing the bridge from the start position with the straight leg. Okay, next we're stretching the quadriceps. We're going to be performing a standing quadricep stretch. Use a chair if necessary for balance. You're going to reach back and grab your foot, pull it up towards your bottom, maintain the knee down towards the floor, and then you're going to tip the pelvis backward. That's going to increase the stretch. You're going to feel it maybe from the hip all the way down through the knee. You're going to hold for 3 to 5 seconds, lower it down, switch sides. You can repeat this 5 to 8 times on each leg, and the goal should be to do this at least once per day. Now we're going to demonstrate a more advanced way of stretching both the quadricep and the hip flexors. Start kneeling. You're going to come up on one foot. You're going to reach back and grab the foot behind your body. If necessary, inch the left foot forward. Make sure you feel stable. As you pull in on the foot towards the buttocks, you're going to drop the hips down and forward. You're getting a great stretch from the hip all the way down through the quadricep. Hold 3 to 5 seconds, relax, and repeat on the other side. Again, you could do 5 to 8 repetitions on each leg, and you should perform this at least once per day. Okay, next we're going to focus on strengthening the hamstrings. Steve's going to demonstrate the most basic exercise you can do for this. He's going to bend forward using a chair or a countertop for balance. You're going to contract the hamstring and bring the foot up towards your bottom. Hold the squeeze in the muscle here. Slowly lower back down, and then switch to the other leg. Squeeze and hold. Lower down. You're going to switch back and forth from right to left. You're going to want to do at least 8 to 10 repetitions on each side and hold for at least 1 second at the top. Okay, now for a more advanced exercise for strengthening the hamstrings. This one's called the leg curl with an exercise ball. Lying flat on your back, legs straight, feet flexed on the ball. You're going to use your hamstrings to pull the ball in towards your bottom. Hold for a second and slowly return to the start of the movement. Pull back in, hold for a squeeze, and then return to the start. You'll want to do at least 10 to 15 repetitions if possible, anywhere from 1 to 3 times per day. To make this even more challenging, you can pull in and then add a bridge to the top of the movement, hold that for a second, lower the bridge, and then return to the start of the movement.
Here are the corrective exercises for the high hip dysfunction.
Okay, now we're ready to address the high hip by first stretching the tight inner thigh on that high hip side. First stretch we're going to do is called the butterfly stretch. Sitting on the floor, feet together, you're going to take your hand, place pressure down on the knee on the high hip side. You're going to hold 3 to 5 seconds, relax, and then repeat. And you'll want to do this at least 5 to 8 times. Keep in mind you're only performing this stretch on the side with the high hip. Here's a more advanced way of stretching the tight muscles in the inner thigh. You're going to start by taking your leg on the side with the high hip, placing it on a chair or on a set of stairs, and you're going to bend and reach towards the foot on the high hip side. You're going to hold that stretch. You'll feel stretching down through the inner thigh here. Hold that position 3 to 5 seconds, and then come back. Keep in mind you're only stretching the high hip side. A more advanced way, if you're not feeling enough stretch in that position, is to actually reach into the stretch while you actually lower your body by bending the knee on the other side. Hold 3 to 5 seconds, and then come back up, and again, 3 to 5 second hold. Repeat this 5 to 8 times, only on the high hip side. Okay, now it's time to focus on increasing the strength of the glute on the high hip side. We're going to perform this exercise using a step. However, it's performed best standing on a set of stairs and holding onto the banister for support. What you're going to do is place the foot on the leg of the high hip on the edge of the step while hanging the other leg off to the side, keeping your pelvis level. You're going to lower and lift the side of your body by contracting the glute on the high hip side. You're going to go up, hold, and down, hold. So just a slight pause at the top and bottom. You'll want to get at least 5 to 8 repetitions on this leg. Keep in mind this exercise is only performed on the side with the high hip. Okay, here's a more advanced way of strengthening the glute. Keep in mind you're only going to want to do this exercise on the side with the high hip. What Steve's going to do is perform a regular bridge, lifting the hips all the way up as high as he can, and then he's going to unload some of his weight by lifting the left leg. In this case, the right glute is doing the work. He's going to hold 3 to 5 seconds and then slowly lower down. And then you're going to repeat, but on the same leg. So you're not going to switch sides. Unload the weight, hold for 3 to 5 seconds, lower back down. Again, 3 to 5 second hold, repeat 5 to 8 times, only on the high side hip. Now it's time to focus on stretching the quadratus lumborum, again, the muscle in the corner of the lower back. What Steve's going to do, seated in a chair, he's going to take his right hand, reach up over his head, bend to the side slightly, and then reach forward, diagonally. Once he's in about this position, he's getting a stretch through here in the corner of the lower back. You're going to hold 3 to 5 seconds, come back, and then you're going to repeat this 5 to 8 times. Again, your primary focus is stretching only the side with the high hip. Okay, next stretch we're going to do is stretching the quadratus lumborum, getting the muscles in the corner of the lower back on the high hip side. Steve's going to demonstrate using a door frame. You're going to reach forward with the hand on the high hip side, grab the door frame, push your hips and body back away from the door frame, and you're going to feel a stretch all the way down through here. You're going to hold that position for 3 to 5 seconds, and then come back up out of it, relax, and repeat that 5 to 8 times. Now let's focus on stretching the glute on the leg opposite the high hip side. The first stretch we're going to do is seated in a chair with your back all the way back against the support. Then take the foot of the leg opposite the high hip side and place it across your other thigh. Then move your foot as far back towards your hip as possible. Once you're there, use your arm to pull your leg across your body diagonally. Hold this position for 3 to 5 seconds, relax, and repeat 5 to 8 times. Here's another stretch for the glutes. We call this one the lying outer hip stretch. Begin lying flat on your back with your knees bent and feet on the floor. Then you're going to straighten the leg on the side with the high hip. Slowly take the other leg with the knee bent and bring it across your body. You can also take your hand and apply some gentle pressure downward through the outer thigh. You will likely feel stretching from the lower back all the way down through the hip and outer thigh. Hold this position for 3 to 5 seconds, relax, and then repeat again 5 to 8 times.
Here are the corrective exercises for the forward head and shoulders dysfunction.
If you've identified you have the forward head and shoulder dysfunction, next stretch is going to be a chest stretch using a doorway. You're going to step forward into the middle of the doorway, place both arms or forearms on the side of the door frame, and then you're going to slowly lean your body forward. You're going to go as far as you comfortably can, and if necessary, you can stagger your feet to get an even further stretch. You'll want to hold this position for at least 3 to 5 seconds and repeat 5 to 8 times. Steve's going to demonstrate a basic forward ball roll. You're going to reach out, lower the upper body down into this position, and here you'll be feeling stretching through the chest and shoulders here. Return and repeat. You'll want to do at least 5 to 8 repetitions on this exercise. Okay, here's an alternative to the previous chest stretch we demonstrated. This stretch is done using a Swiss exercise ball. Steve's going to demonstrate. First, he's going to lie back onto the ball, extend the arms out to the side of the body, and in this position you'll feel stretching through the arm, shoulder, and through the chest, maybe even into the upper abdomen. This is a great stretch. You can also adjust the position of the arms to find where you feel you get the best stretch. Okay, the next exercise to focus on strengthening the upper back and stretching the chest and shoulder muscles is what we call the 5-position external rotation. And Steve's going to demonstrate. Position 1, chest is stretched, hands are as far back as possible, shoulders getting stronger, come back to the start position, repeat again slightly higher. Same thing, as far back as possible with the hands. Come back to the start, up again to position 3. Back in, position 4, back in, and then position 5, directly overhead. You'll want to repeat this exercise at least 3 to 5 times per day. Okay, the next exercise to focus on strengthening the upper back and stretching the chest and shoulder muscles, Steve's going to demonstrate this with a very basic movement. Crossing the arms across the chest, he's going to slowly move the elbows all the way back while maintaining parallel to the floor, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Pinch and squeeze, and then bring back forward for a stretch. Push them all the way back as far as you can, hold, and then come back forward. And to make this more challenging, you can add a TheraBand or exercise band, gripping it out in front of you and pinching the elbows back. As far as you can, hold, and then come forward. You want to do at least 10, 12, 15 repetitions, and you can build up to more repetitions, and the closer you grab the band, the more resistance you have. Okay, now it's time to focus on loosening up that neck. First exercise we're going to do is what's called a chin tuck. You're going to take 2 fingers, place them on your chin, and gently push your chin backwards. Hold for a moment, come back out, and repeat. You'll want to do at least 5 to 8 repetitions on this exercise. Then you're going to move on to our 6-way neck exercises. First one we're going to do is flexion and extension. You're going to bring your chin down into your chest, and then bring the head slowly backwards as far back as you can. Chin back to the chest, and then head back as far as you can. Same thing, 5 to 8 repetitions on the flexion and extension. Then you're going to go to lateral flexion, which is side-to-side bending of the neck. So you're going to come all the way to the right, hold, and then go all the way to the left and hold. Same for this exercise, 5 to 8 repetitions on each side. And then finally, you're going to go with rotation, turning the head all the way to the right as far as you comfortably can, hold, and then going to the left as far as you comfortably can. Each side, 5 to 8 repetitions.
Here are the corrective exercises for the backward tip pelvis dysfunction.
If you've identified you have a backward tipped pelvis, first thing you need to do is focus on stretching the glutes. Steve's going to demonstrate a basic glute stretch. Lying flat on his back, he's going to take one foot, place it across the other knee, reach through with his hands, grabbing that knee, pulling it inwards towards the chest, looking for a stretch in the glute and back of the thigh area. You're going to hold that stretch for 3 to 5 seconds, lower it down, repeat that 5 to 8 times on that side, and then switch and do it on the other leg. Okay, next thing we're going to focus on is strengthening the quadriceps and hip flexors. Steve's going to demonstrate a basic stationary lunge. He's going to take one step forward, bending at the knee, lowering the hips straight down, and then pushing through the foot, using the thigh, coming back up. Slow back down, stretching the glute on the side here, pushing through the foot, strengthening the quadricep and hip. Down, push through the heel, back up. You're going to repeat this 10 to 15 repetitions on each leg. Okay, next thing we're going to do is a hamstring stretch. Steve's going to bring his foot in to his groin area, maintaining a straight leg with the knee down, foot flexed. He's going to bend at the waist and reach for the toes. As far as you comfortably can, hold that position 3 to 5 seconds, come back out of it, relax, and repeat. Again, you're going to do this 5 to 8 times on both legs. Here's an alternative to the hamstring stretch we just demonstrated. You can use a chair or a stair to perform this stretch. What you're going to do is you're going to place your leg up on the chair, flex the toes back towards you. As you push the hips backwards, you're going to bend forward, reaching towards the foot. Go as far as you comfortably can, hold the stretch 3 to 5 seconds, come back and relax, and then again repeat this 5 to 8 times on each leg. Okay, here's an alternative exercise to the stationary lunge we demonstrated earlier. Again, we're focused on strengthening the quadriceps and hip flexors while at the same time stretching the glutes. Steve's going to first demonstrate the basic step up. He steps up with the right foot and comes back down on the right foot. Up on the right and down on the right. He's going to perform this 10 to 15 repetitions on that same leg and then switch sides. A more advanced version of this exercise is a continuous step up on the same leg. Step up, lower down, step up, and lower down. Do as many repetitions as you can until you fatigue, and then switch to the other leg. Okay, next thing we're going to focus on is stretching the tight muscles in the upper abdomen. You're going to start by lying face down. You're going to place your body weight on your elbows and forearms, and then push the upper body up off the floor. You'll be feeling a stretch through the chest and upper abdomen. An alternative to this, to make it a little bit more advanced, is to place your weight on your hands and push up until you extend your arms. Go only as far as you can go, hold the stretch for 3 to 5 seconds, and repeat 5 to 8 times. Okay, next exercise for the backward tip pelvis is strengthening the lower back. Steve's going to perform a basic alternating arm and leg extension. Start beginning on all fours. And what you're going to do is you're going to raise the right arm as you also extend the left leg. Hold for a moment, lower down, and switch to the other side. You'll want to perform anywhere from 10, 12 to 15 repetitions. An alternative to this is to perform the exercise lying face down, again raising the right arm and left leg, alternating back and forth from side to side. If you are suffering from sciatic pain, it's important you understand that there are 2 primary causes: pressure being placed on the nerve either by a disc or by tight and inflamed muscles. Either way, you'll get the most improvement and the quickest relief by identifying and addressing your dysfunctions. In addition, there are several key exercises we have found that can quickly help eliminate sciatic pain.
The first exercise we will be demonstrating today is what we call the seated figure 4. What we would like you to do is take the affected leg and bring it over top the other knee. Then I want you to put gentle pressure downward, leaning forward. I'd like you to hold this stretch for 3 to 5 seconds and repeat 5 to 8 times per day. Now what we do know is that for some people it will be difficult to get into this position. So an easier way to start is to extend the leg, bring the affected leg over, and slowly work the leg up, putting maybe less pressure down, and moderate how much lean you put into it. The other good thing about this exercise is that it can be done at work at your desk. The next exercise we will be performing is what we call the sciatica crisscross. In order to do this, we'll need to lie on our stomach, legs bent at the knees slightly apart, and simply go into a crisscross motion, alternating which leg goes in front. This is best done on a repetition basis. I'd like you to start out with 10 to 15 and gradually work yourself up to as much as you can tolerate. Next up, the sciatica super stretch. In order to perform this stretch, we'll need to get into the hands and knees position, like this. If you have sciatica on your right, I want you to rotate your legs to the left. If you have sciatica on your left, I want you to rotate your legs to the right.